day 2 of solving equations with variables on both sides, but today we're going to add a simplifying element. So they're going to have quite a few steps in this one, but if you keep them organized, you're going to be fine. So anything in red here, I want you guys to fill out on your notes. So today's problems are going to require you to either, one, distribute to get rid of the parentheses, or combine like terms if you need to on each side. So after you've simplified, you're going to use the opposite operations, just like we've been practicing, to get that variable on one side, and then just keep solving that equation as usual. So let's just jump into some examples here so you know what to do. So we have an equation here that needs to be simplified before I can start getting the variable on one side. So right here, I see this is something I can distribute. So I'm going to multiply this 2 by everything in the parentheses. So if I do that, I'm left with 10x minus 2 is equal to, and then I get to this side and I see I can actually distribute here as well. So I'm going to multiply that 3 by everything. Alright, so now I'm left with something that kind of looks like yesterday's problems, where I just have variables on both sides. So my next step, just like yesterday, is to get these variables to one side. Hopefully you remember that left is best. So I'm going to subtract 3x, do the opposite, so minus 3x on both sides. So I get 7x minus 2 is equal to 33. All right, now I have a nice equation that just has a variable on one side. So to finish this off, I'm going to do the opposite with this 2, get rid of this first. So I'm left with 7x equals 35. And my very last step is going to be the opposite of multiplication. So I'm left with x is equal to 5. So if you see my colors here, these are actually 4-step problems. So simplify first, get the variable on one side, keep doing opposite operations, and then you have your final answer. So these are quite a few steps, so we're going to spend some time practicing these. But this one has a little bit different simplifying going on. I don't see any parentheses, but I see way too many terms. So I'm going to look at this side, and obviously I'm going to have to combine like terms. So my like terms would be my 7 minus 5. So if I simplify that, combine those like terms, 7 minus 5 is going to give me a 2 minus 4x. So I'm just going to bring down that 4x. This side, I actually have 2 x's, so I'm going to combine those. Now the biggest mistake you can make is do the opposite here. Remember, we only do the opposite when you're moving it to the other side or getting rid of it on one side to put it to the other. This, all we're doing is combining like terms. Okay, so don't go crazy. We have 3x minus 1x. If I'm just combining those, that would give me 2x. If you can tell me tomorrow what the biggest mistake you can make would be, I will give you 10 raffle tickets. So the biggest mistake you can make is by doing the opposite when you're not moving it to the other side, okay? 10 raffle tickets if you can tell me that. All right, now we're moving on to the next step, which is just getting the variable to one side. Remember, left is best. So I'm going to subtract 2x on both sides to get those x's together. So I'm left with 1 is on this side. I have 2 minus 6x. All right, next step is going to be getting this x all by itself on this side. So I'm going to subtract 2, do the opposite on both sides. I'm left with negative 6x is equal to negative 1. And my last and final step is solving this one-step equation by doing the opposite of multiplication. So we're going to divide negative 6. Now this, I can't do 1 divided by 6, but you can remember that 2 negatives make a positive. So my answer is just going to be 1 over 6. All right. I'm going to do one more problem with you guys, and then I'm going to have you guys answer this one on your own. All right, last one. We have some simplifying to do on both sides, it looks like.